education is the most powerful weapon to bring change. When you empower one person with education, if they get skilled, if they get employed, or they start something of their own, the impact is not only on their life, it's on their family, it's on their community, everyone around them. You need to just start. You can't have the perfect plan, perfect idea, perfect website. Being a Gen Z, I understand that there's a lot of fear that, what if I fail? What if things doesn't work out? What would my parents say? What would, the society say? What would my friends say? I would have to say, one thing. You just need to ignore. You need to ignore the noise. Hello everyone, I'm Adarsh Kumar and I run a social startup called Skillzo. So what we primarily do is that we help school students get exposure, experience and network. Now we also moving to the skilling part. We have done lots of programs and we have approx empowered 20,000 students across India. So I'll go back, with the most important skill that I've learned in entrepreneurship, that is start with the why. That's the very most important thing. So to understand my why of entrepreneurship, we'll have to go back to my journey, my childhood back in Bihar. So I was born in this district called East Champaran. It's in the northern part of Bihar. And I come from a very humble family with a very modest upbringing. There growing up, when I got access to free internet of Geo is approx I think 2015 or 16. I clearly don't remember. But that time, I got exposure to a whole different world where my physical world and my digital world were two different things. I was living in a whole utopian world in my digital in that digital era. And during that time, I was trying to learn a lot of skills, whether it's coding, how to design websites, how to edit videos, etc., etc. At that time, I used to explore what is AI and all that, all those buzzwords which we see these days around, in news and Instagram, etc. I used to explore that at that time. But at that particular time, I did not had anyone to explain me, to help me, to sort of give me that mentorship or guidance or inspiration to do something in entrepreneurship, because I was merely in 5th grade, 6th grade, so no one used to sort of take me seriously. And I understand that. I understand the problem, because that was a whole different generation. But with that, the experience that I had, when I got an opportunity, when I moved out of my hometown, I went to Kota, but I had my fair share of failure there. Then when everyone was talking, start with the problem, start with the why, then my why was always around. I always used to think that education is the best tool to bring change in the world. As Nelson Mandela has said, education is the most powerful weapon to bring change. So with that, and with this experience of struggling to get mentorship or education about for 21st century skills, I thought of Skillzo. So my why was that to use education to empower people, when you empower one person with education, if they get skilled, if they get employed, or they start something of their own, they don't, it just the impact is not only on their life, it's on their family, it's on their community, everyone around them. So if we focus truly on education, I think a lot of problems get solved automatically. So that's what became my why, to contribute to this world through education, through skilling and through Skillzo. So yeah, that's the very first thing for entrepreneurship. Second that comes is that the jugaad mindset and the frugal mindset, especially for the people who come from not so fancy background, the people who come from the modest background, first generation entrepreneurs. You need to use all possible free methods and also sometimes paid methods through a free medium. I'll explain this to you. What do I mean by paid methods through free medium? So if for example, there's an event and you can't afford the ticket, you can't afford the pass. For example, I had to attend this event called Tech Sparks, which is done by this company called Shraddha Sharma, one of my mentors. She is one of my mentors and she's been an inspiration to me. I reached out to her and I asked, this is my journey, can you please help me with the ticket? She gave me the ticket to me, but she gave me ticket to for 20 other students. So I distributed it among my Skillzo community and tried to get more and more people. So always reach out, try to use the most frugal way to do things. So that's the second learning that that I've had. And third is that you need to just start. You can't have the perfect plan, perfect idea, perfect website, perfect anything won't be perfect when you start. You just need to start messy, chaotic, whatever with you have. As we say, you need to start, and then you just try to make it better, good, great, etc., etc. Entrepreneurship is a journey which is not sort of like a curve like this. It's a curve like this. So first you need to put a lot of efforts in doing your fundamentals, understanding the problem, understanding the ecosystem, etc., etc. And then with continuous learning, you fail 100 times, and whatever you learn, you just keep implementing. You just take the learning from the previous failure and ensure that you're not repeating it again. So and use all the frugal possibilities in ensuring that you're able to succeed. So these are the two learnings. And third, I would say, is that to have the right intention. If you have the right intention, if you're able to talk to people with proper intent, if you're able to show that you are working for impact, you're working for either revenue, your impact, it could be different thing for different people. Few people are who are very mission oriented, few people are revenue oriented. But what I believe personally and what I've learned is that you maybe need to have a mix of both. You just can't be like revenue focused or anything like that. Personally, I believe for me, impact first and mission first is there, and I believe in that. So these are the a few learnings which I think is important for everyone. And now the third or fourth thing, I forgot the timeline, would be to apply for whatever you see. For example, I'm personally the first Indian to win Check.org Global Student Prize by Waki Foundation and Check. That prize comes with $100,000 grant, and a lot of recognition and a lot of credibility. And more than that, it gives me confidence. It gives you a tool, it gives you confidence. People are they're willing to listen to you and understand. And I also personally feel, when you win, it's not just a win of you, it's a win of everyone across, who has supported you, every young person, everyone who's trying to do, something new and break their, generational curse and do something great in life. And also remember that whenever in life, if you feel that, this is my ending, everything has, now ended and life is over, remember there's so much more. There's so much more to do. And why I say that is that after grade 9, I had moved to Kota, and few relatives of mine, had sort of committed to support me through finances, etc., etc. But at the end moment, they said that we don't want to support this kid. He's sort of spoiled, and we don't think he would succeed. But still, I stayed there because I thought there's nothing to lose but so much to win. And I started reaching out to, again, people, use that frugal mindset, like, so we call it in the be besharam. So I started doing that, and I got opportunities, and, my life turned around, right? Back right now, like just a few months back, in March 2026, I applied to 21 colleges in the US. I got rejected by all of them. And I thought my life has ended again. Everyone around me thought he will, just now stop, his energy will go down, his motivation he'll lose. But I didn't, because like so many, failures in life, I've learned that if you fail, there's, there's one more opportunity or one gate that opens that you're not even aware of. And in many cases, and I would say in most of the cases, it's just better for you. So always take that. And now, I'm going to university in Qatar, Georgetown University in Qatar, on a full ride scholarship that covers my visa costs, flights, insurance, food, housing, tuition fee, etc., etc. And I couldn't be more grateful that it's a university closer to my home. I can study whatever I want there. I can explore so many things. So I believe, whenever you have a failure in life, just, ensure that you take it in a positive way. It's very hard to, to do so. It's very easy for me right now to say. But if you do so, you'll understand what I'm trying to say. So just my request to take failures in a way to motivate you to learn things rather than, to just stop. If you believe in your mission, don't stop, never give up. I think, being a Gen Z, I understand that there's a lot of fear that, what if I fail? What if things doesn't work out? What would my parents say? What would, the society say? What would my friends say? I would have to say, one thing. You just need to ignore. You need to ignore the noise. Focus on the signal. Focus on the things that is, there to help you. Because you know that this is the right thing. If you believe in it, you do the work, you'll succeed. You'll have some form of, even if you fail, that's some kind of success, because until unless you're not stopping, every failure is a step towards success. So what I would say is that ignore, focus on the signal, not the noise. You need to block your ears, focus on the work. And I would just say, everyone tries to show that their life is perfect on Instagram or LinkedIn, whatever platform is there. But being an entrepreneur, myself as a Gen Z, and I've seen so many other people, no one's life is perfect, neither mine. I am, might appear as perfect person who has achieved everything in life or figured out everything in life. But believe me, neither I have, and nor so many people that I know who seem to have figured out everything. So ignore the noise and focus on the signal. And lots of times when I come from a modest background, you think that you need money, you need fancy family background, etc., that you need to from business background to start something. I completely disagree. I know so many people, and my own story. My mother was just a simple homemaker who has like figured out her way, struggled her way to support me. A single laptop by her and a free internet, the Jio's free internet, and when the data got cheap, it changed my life. So I believe if you're able to watch this video, you have internet and you have a device. So in today's world, when information, and knowledge and education is accessible to everyone, it's just there for free. It's just, few searches. I think you can learn anything in life just for free. At least you can start with the basic skills, and you can do internships, you can do fellowships, etc., to learn more. So if you have internet, if you have a good device, even a basic device, you can start learning, and you can make progress, and then there will be people to support you. And as as a part of Skillzo team, I would love to support you. I'd love to associate with you and try to help you with whatever you're doing. One very important thing I've learned from one of my mentors is that his name is Mr. Amit Lodha. He's an IPS officer, and you might have seen this web series named Khaki the Bihar chapter. It's based on his book written by him. He told me one day, I was having a chat with him, and he told me, others in life, you'll have problems. People or the situation you'll be in situations where you think that everything is out of your hand. You should just forget everything, try to live a simple life and a happy life. You'll try to go away from the problems. That's what he might have faced in his life. And personally, I could relate with that. At moments we feel that we can't change anything. Everything around us is so rigid. Change is not possible. But he told me that you have only two options. Either you accept it and live with it, that guilt, that regret, that I can't do anything. Or either, even with knowing that I might not be able to change everything perfectly, but I'll try, I'll do something, I'll put my best. So I believe that's a very important thing to understand, that whatever situation you are in, you need to understand that you have the ability to change. You have the ability to go in a direction, try to put your efforts to change things around you. So I would always suggest that you put your efforts, you try to change things, rather than just being cynicistic about having that cynicism that nothing can be changed. So I believe that you should have that mindset that things can be changed, given that you put the right efforts, and also sometimes there's a bit of luck and timing that comes in the role. As a young person, when there's so much of distraction on social media, there are few things that has really sort of helped me to keep my mind on track. First is watching maybe high quality podcasts. There are so many on the internet that you could probably find. I would not recommend any, and I don't want to promote anything as such. But there's so many good ones that you should do watch, and try to keep your mind on the track. Because if you open social media, if you open any platform which is it's always full of distraction. So I would say keep reading books that help you develop a mindset. There are so many books. The three books that I would definitely recommend you to read is that first is Grit by Angela Duckworth. It sort of helps you understand how passion and perseverance are the most important sort of traits for your success. And second one would be the Almanac of Naval Ravikant. It sort of gives you your guide on wealth and happiness, and also I think there are many parts on health also. And third would be Hidden Potential by Adam Grant. There you learn, sort of how to reach your maximum potential through scientific ways. So these are the three books, that have sort of helped me, develop a better mindset, and you learn so many realities about life that, I sort of encountered. So this is there. So and also I would say that become a part of a community that sort of inspires you, where your failure is celebrated, your success is celebrated. Because there will be many cases when when you achieve something, the people around you won't be necessarily very happy about it. So become a part of a community where you are celebrated, your failures are celebrated, and you are celebrated, your everything is supported. And I would like to thank you, Josh Talks, for this opportunity. Really grateful to this platform. It's been inspiration for me and so many other young people, and I hope this talk inspires you too.